Sydzillians, welcome back to This and That in Stars. For episode 64, we are doing another movie review, this time on Dear Evan Hansen. This movie is based off a Broadway play with the same name. I, however, have not seen that play myself, only the movie. I know there are some differences between the two. For example, in the soundtrack, the play has songs that the film does not, and also the character of Jared. I read online that he's Jewish in the play, but he's Indian in the movie to suit the actor who they cast. But anyway, this video will only be about the movie, and so any spoilers that I give will be towards that and not towards the play. So, like I mentioned, I have not seen the play version of Dear Evan Hansen, nor had I seen the movie until Friday. Today is Monday as of filming, but I've been obsessed with both soundtracks since September of 2021. I can't remember exactly what happened. I think it was a Snapchat ad. They were advertising the movie or something, but anyway, I've been obsessed with the soundtrack since September 2021, so I was very excited when Netflix got the movie so that I could watch it. I was delayed until now in doing so from when they first got it, but I'm very glad that I did because it was a wonderful film. I definitely am going to be rating it much higher than Rotten Tomatoes. 29% is way too low. I entirely disagree, but we will get my rating at the end of the video, as we always do in this series. Let's now get into the main bulk of the video. All information that I want to share will be in chronological order, the start of the film through to the end of the film. I wrote a bunch of notes down on Google Keep while I was watching. I've got them open here now on my trusty iPad, and I will be reading through that document as I film. So the first thing I want to mention is that we were literally only a minute and a half into the film when they played the first song. That first song was called Looking Through a Window, and it is in my top 6 songs from this movie. The album has 16 songs, 6 of which I have liked on my Spotify liked songs, the others I have not. However, I did like the entire album as one of my favorite albums. Same with the play version, I've got both. But when the song came on, I was very happy and very excited because I love the song. I was singing along the entire time it was playing during the movie. Anytime any song came on that I loved, I would be singing along. I tried not to get too excited, but I couldn't help it because the soundtrack is the reason I wanted to watch this film in the first place. Now, this song is actually sung in 2 batches, so we call them. Evan does a bunch of verses at home and another bunch of verses when he's been dropped off to school. But in between there, we have a scene with him and his mom in the kitchen. Some of the lines that the mom says are direct quotes from the song, Does Anybody Have a Map? However, that song is sadly not in the movie, it's only in the play version. And the reason that it's so sad is because I dare say that's my favorite Dear Evan Hansen song out of all of them on both albums. In fact, the verse of that song where they're in the Murphy household, I've got that entirely memorized. I can sing the entire thing, and I absolutely love it. So I wish they would have put it in the movie, but whatever, is what it is. Next, we have a scene at school. All of the students are in the gym for an assembly of sorts. Evan is sitting and talking to his friend Jared, or more specifically his family friend, as is pointed out multiple times during the film. In this scene, we see Jared's phone. He has a purple and black phone case that looks very, very similar to a phone case that I used to have, if not the exact same. Now, obviously, phone cases do not have genders. I don't care if you're male, female, trans, non-binary, etc. You can use any freaking phone case that you want, but to me, it just felt a touch strange. So when there was a line Jared said, quote, hooked up with this Brazilian dude who is literally a supermodel, I decided to do some Googling to see what definition of hooked up we were working with. And it seems like Jared is in fact a gay character in the movie. We don't really talk about it that much. It's just this one line in the first assembly scene, but that does explain the phone case. Not that it needs an explanation. Like I said, anybody can use any phone case. There's no gender rules. But I did find it a touch strange for whatever reason. And that's the explanation that the film has given us to make it make sense. Another scene at school, shortly after the assembly, we are in the hallway and we see Connor at his lockers. Connor has a black manicure, his fingernails have been painted. I personally really like it, but there is a character who bullies him for it. However, after getting bullied, he yelled at Evan to, quote, stop laughing, but Evan was not laughing or staring. Evan didn't do crap to Connor. Zoe does apologize to Evan for her brother's behavior, but Evan is super awkward and weird about the situation, partially because he has a crush on Zoe, but also because that's how he is. He's a very shy person just in general. Instead of shaking her hand when she puts it out, he runs away. Now we have a scene where Evan is in the school library typing out his letter, the assignment he's been given by his therapist, and we see him print that letter. I believe it is on purpose. We see his computer screen on the film screen. But when he walks over to the printer to retrieve it, he says to the people in line, quote, I think I accidentally printed something. And my thinking here is, how the hell do you accidentally print something? Because you have to click at least 3 buttons. You click File, then you click Print, a little preview will pop up, and then you click Print again from that preview. Maybe there are more buttons still if you only want certain pages, or more than one copy, or black and white versus color. Like, I can accept the first 2 clicks being a mistake, because you clicked File on purpose, and then you meant to click the option that was above or below Print in the list. But once the pop-up comes up, that would be your dead giveaway that, hey, I'm in the middle of printing this, let's stop before I actually use the paper up. I think he just did that because he's shy and awkward. He wanted to cut the line, make sure nobody reads his letter. He'll find it before they find it. But overall, it's just like, bro, you did not accidentally print it. As far as I can tell, you printed it on purpose. Evan's wish to get his paper off of the printer before anybody else can find it, see it, read it, is not fulfilled because Connor finds the paper, grabs it off the printer, and is a total douche about what's in the contents. He's nice enough to sign Evan's cast. That actually happens before he finds the paper, but once he finds the paper, he totally becomes rude about it. Evan asks if he can have it back, but Connor will not give it, runs away, and ends up keeping the letter. So it is now the next day, I believe, and when Evan arrives to school in the morning, he is called down to the principal's office for a meeting with Connor's parents. It turns out that Connor committed suicide the previous night, and when his parents found him that morning, they found Evan's letter with him. They misinterpret that letter as Connor's last words, something that Connor wrote to Evan because they are friends. Quote, his best and most dearest friend, that's what the mom says after seeing the signature on the cast. Connor in big letters, Connor being the only thing on there and nothing else. Evan really should tell his parents the truth, but he can't bring himself to do that because they're already so sad about having lost their son. He instead agrees to have dinner at their house, in which he will talk more about their friendship later that evening. So while Evan is having dinner at the Murphy household, he ends up singing the song For Forever, and I did not realize that this song was entirely based on a lie and activities that did not ever happen. Connor's parents were talking during dinner, and the things they were saying just kind of spiraled into this story that Evan made up. It's supposedly a day he and Connor had as friends, eating ice cream, going to the orchard, yada yada, but of course they never actually did that because they were never actually friends. And the thing about this song is that it just gave total musical vibes. And what I mean by that is Evan is so shy and awkward that he can't even talk to people. But yet he can sing an entire song at the dinner table with no problems. And I know they heard him sing that song because of their facial expressions, everyone else in the family/room. They were staring him down the whole time and attentively listening. So I know he didn't just mysteriously create his own bubble and sing to the viewers. They actually heard what he was saying. Now, in this scene, after the song, I kind of wish that he would have just told the parents the truth, because if they know right away, it's going to hurt less than keeping this ruse for how long and then admitting it later in the end of the film, assuming that he does. But if the ruse is not kept up, that will defeat the entire movie, so I see why we don't. So given that one printed email that Connor's parents have, they have Evan's letter thinking it's from Connor, like I had mentioned. They ask to see more letters between Connor and Evan. But obviously there are no more letters since they weren't for real friends, so to keep up this ruse, Evan has to fake write a bunch of these emails. He enlists Jared's help to do this, and that is how we get the song Sincerely Me. Now with this song, I had always thought that Connor sung half of this track, but since he had already died prior to the song being in the movie, I thought that maybe Jared was going to sing the other half, and I was just wrong. But no, it turns out that I was right. It is in fact Connor singing half of the song, which makes sense, because each boy can sing their own letters, the ones that they supposedly wrote. However, Jared does have a few lines in the song, since he is with Evan helping to write them. The lines Jared has are what I call the more talky bits of the song. For example, quote, "I love my parents," and that spin that he does in his chair, oh my god, I loved that spin. It was so cute and so funny. But the actual funniest part of the song was Connor entering the library door 3 separate times. The line is, quote, "If I stopped smoking drugs," and he walks in the door. But they changed the word drugs to crack. "If I stop smoking crack," and he re-enters the door. But then they change the line again to "If I stop smoking pot," and he enters again for a 3rd time. Every time they change the word, they retake the scene, and it's really funny. But also, this song gives musical vibes again, the same feeling that I get when I was listening to For Forever in the dinner scene. Connor and Evan got in trouble for talking in the library. That previous scene I mentioned with the printed letter and the cast signing. The librarian was like, "Shush, you're being too loud." But if Connor comes into the library loudly singing a song, dancing on top of the tables and in between all the bookshelves, nope, nobody bats an eye. You can totally dance on a table, but you can't have a normal volumed conversation. It doesn't make sense. Another thing about this song is that when Evan is talking about all of his photography, the trees and nature photos, I thought that all those no's that were in response came from Connor, but in fact, they're another one of Jared's lines in the song. As well, the line about they're close but they're not that close, they aren't gay, is also Jared. And given that he's a gay character, I mentioned that previously, I love that he's the one who said that. It kind of makes it funnier to me than if Connor or Evan had said it. As well, there's a scene during the song, they're at the arcade playing DDR, Dance Dance Revolution, and that totally gave me Kissing Booth vibes. If you know anything about Elle and Lee from that movie, then you know what I mean. But if you have not seen that movie, the trilogy is on Netflix and I recommend it. So now we have a scene where Evan is at the Murphy house talking with Zoe in the kitchen. The parents are temporarily not home because they went out to buy ice cream to go with the gluten-free apple pie that the mom has baked. Zoe is telling Evan about her parents, some more details, and I found it really funny that the mom was only Buddhist for 1 year. I think it's totally fine if you want to change your interest, try something new, give up on something else, etc. I want to do this, I want to do that, switch it up. But to be doing something strict for a year, I'm not quite sure the rules of Buddhism, but I know the things you can and can't do, and then to be like, nah, I'm done, we're good, that's kind of funny to me, of all the things to try and then stop. As well, I've realized how much Evan says sorry during this movie. Sorry for this, sorry for that. He probably says it in scenes where he does not need to be saying it at all. And the fact that he says it so much, it gives me a reminder of Charlie Spring, total flashbacks to that character, and how he says sorry way too much in Heartstopper. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that as well. The show itself is on Netflix, but also there's graphic novels that show is based on. I can't fully remember if it was part of the conversation or if it was after the conversation, but we're in that same kitchen scene when we get the song If I Could Tell Her. Evan is singing to Zoe. Now the song is phrased as though Evan is saying things that Connor thought, the Connor knew, the Connor liked, the Connor felt. But I now get the sense that that is not true and none of it comes from Connor. It is actually Evan singing about his crush under the guise of this man was a good brother. I should have known since their friendship was fake, how would he know what Connor knows if they never hang out, never talk, never share feelings? But honestly, I did not catch on to just how coded this song was, how secretly coded it was, the hidden meanings, the hidden true messages, until I watched the movie. So I realized that I've been forgetting to mention it, the same as I did with the first track of the film, but just so you know, For Forever, Sincerely Me, and If I Could Tell Her are all also Spotify-liked songs. They're in my top 6 as well. So the next scene I want to talk about is a very heartwarming scene between Evan and Alana. I have not mentioned her yet in this video, but I'm pretty sure she'll be in the notes again further down. I loved the scene because they were bonding over shared mental health struggles, as well as sharing how they deal with it differently. Like Evan, as we know, is a loner, for lack of a better term. That's the best description. He is shy, awkward, weird. But Alana, on the other hand, is more popular, and she's the president of basically every club at school. Very smart, very involved. However, when Alana asks what meds he takes and shares her exact dosages, it seems a bit too personal. Like they're not even truly friends, so why are you sharing this? But anyway, whatever. Alana also sings a song that I did not know at all. Like normally, even if a song is not in my top 6 on Spotify, I at least recognize it from hearing the album, but this one, I did not know at all. Never heard of anonymous ones prior to watching the movie. Never. So we are now back at the Murphy house. Connor's mom takes Evan up to Connor's bedroom because there's something she would like to gift him. That something being Connor's 7th grade tie. His dad took him suit shopping so he'd be ready for dances, dates, all that jazz. But in fact, he never even got asked out once and didn't end up using it. This scene was very cute and emotional. I can tell how much Connor's mom loves Evan to give him this tie. But it's also very sad that it wasn't her son who could have found a use for this tie at some point, her own biological Connor. This is in fact the tie that Connor wears during his speech at the school memorial. At first he was not intending to speak, but given what Connor's mom is interpreting, he changes his mind and does it anyway so as not to let her down. Also in the bedroom, there is a scarf on Connor's closet door. And I mean this in the nicest way, but this scarf, for whatever reason, gave me theater kid vibes, which obviously was so not Connor's vibe, but the scarf was giving off the kind of person who is in every school play. They're likely the lead role, and they're also the center of attention, maybe often doing character impressions. They speak in accents or whatever instead of using their normal voice. So now it is officially the school memorial for Connor, everyone piling into the gym to honor his legacy, and Evan is first up to speak. I thought his speech was very awkward, but then again that's just his personality, but also it was really funny. Partly because the whole story is fake, he's just repeating the lie that he told to Connor's parents that first dinner, but also because he gets his words all jumbled up. Here he is talking about the time he fell out of the tree and was lying there, but then he goes back to the beginning and repeats, "Hello, students and faculty." He drops his papers, he knocks the mic over, and I probably should not find it as laugh out loud funny as I did. Like, oh my god, that was a chaotic mess. Everyone starts filming him. I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he then abandons his speech entirely and just starts singing the next song, "You Will Be Found," which is really funny. Again, musical vibes. He cannot handle a simple speech, even when it's been written down for him verbatim, but he can bust a song on stage in front of everybody. Make it make sense. So now we have a scene where Zoe comes over to Evan's house, and I can tell that he is just freaking out internally because, oh my god, my crush is in my room. He can't talk to her for a different reason than why he normally can't talk. And yes, I'm aware that he goes to her house all the time, hangs out with her parents, all that jazz, but trust me, it's different, okay? Just trust me, it's different. Now, it turns out that Zoe came over because she wants to hang out with Evan in a manner that does not discuss Connor. She likes him for him, and that made me very excited because imagine your crush likes you back. Imagine your crush ends up dating you. Like, yay love, I have that in all caps, and it was so cute. They have some really adorable kisses in this scene, And also, you can tell the relationship lasts a while because we get flash forwards to dates at the carnival, as well as some suits and dresses that I can only assume is like school prom or something. These flash forwards happen during the song Only Us. They're singing a duet together. We have yet another scene at the Murphy household. This is when Evan's mom meets Connor's parents for the first time. In this scene, Connor's parents are offering a gift to Evan, a very touching, kind, and nice gesture. This gift is Connor's entire college fund. They would like to transfer it to Evan since obviously Connor can no longer use it. They want to do this because they've heard that Evan is slightly less well off than they are, and it's going to be a lot harder for his mom to afford college than for the Murphys. Evan needs to win scholarships. Evan needs to work a job, things like that. Now, I personally think that this gift is way too big, way too generous, because the whole friendship is based on a lie. He cannot possibly take this gift, given he's been lying. Connor's parents misread the letter that first meeting, and Evan never corrected them. All the times he's hung out in their house, he's eaten their food, he wore that tie to the memorial. It's all too much already, and he can't possibly take something this big. I also wonder how the parents would feel if the truth came out now, as opposed to way back in the beginning. Or Zoe, how do you think she would feel now that she's finally dating Evan? I feel like to an extent she may be caught on in the beginning. She knew that he was lying, but I think over time she has now believed the ruse as well, so I'm not sure what that would do to their relationship. Evan's mom shoots down the offer very hardcore. They are not a charity case, they are not actually all that poor, and she drives away in her car. Evan does stay at the house a little bit longer, I think probably to hang with Zoe, but like I said, the mom gets angry and storms away. At school, there is a new club called the Connor Project. It's dedicated to keeping Connor's memory alive. They're currently raising funds to rename the orchard in his behalf, but also it's just for general mental health awareness, and anybody who has struggles can come to this group to share. And Alana, who's one of the key leaders of this group, is starting to question if Connor and Evan were even actually friends, because he's missed at least 3 of the last few group meetings. But he convinces her that they were actually friends because he sent her a note, supposedly from Connor. I believe that it's the note he wrote in the beginning of the film himself, his therapy assignment that started it all. I couldn't see for sure in that scene. The phone screen was not clear enough, but a few scenes later they do show us clear enough, and I was right. It is the therapy assignment that he wrote to himself, not anything Connor ever actually did. Alana posts this note on Instagram, but relatively soon she takes it down because there's so much digital bullying and abuse. So many people are putting mean and hurtful comments. So many strangers are attacking these people that they don't even know. But her taking it down did not stop it because it already circulated too far. Other people have screenshots, other people have copies, and it's too late. So upon hearing about all this bullying and abuse that the Murphy family has been receiving, people's interpretation of how they treated their son, Evan leaves the party that he's currently at and runs all the way to Zoe's house. Now with this, I'm wondering, did he do something insane or did he do something reasonable? Like, where in the city is this party relative to where in the city the Murphys live? Is this crazy or is this normal that anybody could do? When Evan arrives to the house, there is a lot of arguing going on between the parents. And amidst this arguing, he tells the truth. Finally, he admits the truth of what had been going on. It's not a suicide note. Connor did not write that. It's a therapist's assignment, and I wrote it myself. At first, the parents don't believe him because of the arm break and all the other additional emails, but Evan does manage to convince them. He tells them all the lies he had been spewing, and he sings the song Words Fail. And my opinion is that after the song, they will be dumping him. He wanted a dad, he wanted a better mom, manifest his current mom, and he wanted a girlfriend. He got them, but only for a little while, and now he's no longer going to have them. That is what I believe. Evan also wants to share the truth publicly, so that all hate and bullying will turn onto him because he deserves it, not the Murphys who are innocent. As well, the Murphys have already suffered enough, having lost their teenage son, but they will not let him admit it publicly because they don't want him to get hurt. They don't want to, quote, ruin his life. Despite all of this, they still love him and they still care about him. They already, quote, lost one son, which means they think of Evan as their second son, which is very adorable, but Evan does go ahead and film a video. He posts it anyway and does it regardless because he knows it's the right thing to do. We get a scene of Evan at home. He's talking to his mom in the living room, family room, something like that, and he reveals that he did not fall from the tree. He let go on purpose. When he was climbing it, he wanted to break his arm or something like that. He says that his mom should now hate him for doing something like that, but in fact, she admits that she still loves him. Also in this scene, the mom is singing a song called So Big, So Small, and it's supposed to be a very cute, touching, heartwarming moment, which of course it is, but to me, I also found it a little bit funny, because if you extrapolate from the characters and think about this in terms of actors, Evan is played by Ben Platt, who did not duet this song. He just sat there as the mom's actors sang at him. And the reason why I find that funny is because Ben Platt has a singing career outside of playing Dear Evan Hansen. I'm not sure if he's acted in any of my things, I haven't checked, but he's definitely a singer with very good music. And just imagine you singing a song to a famous singer. Like, that's very interesting. I don't know why, but it just is. After Evan has admitted the truth, everyone at school shuns him, even more than they already had before when he was a loner. Alana's not talking to him, Zoe's not talking to him, the Murphys aren't talking to him. He's lost everyone. But it's very cute to see him reading Connor's favorite books. He's finding the information and he's reading through them. He also wants to learn about Connor for real, and he reaches out to people who are tagged in videos of Connor or posts on social media. He DMs them, he emails them, and he tries to get information so he can learn for real. One guy does send a video of Connor singing a song. He did it when he was in rehab. The mom did mention way back in the movie that Connor likes to write songs, or at least that's what she assumed, because he never actually played for them, but clearly he does play in this song, and it's a very cute song. I loved Evan watching the video. I loved the Murphys watching the video. Everyone. It was just such a wonderful scene. If there was ever a time in this film that I was going to cry, that was the scene. I literally almost did. So close. Didn't actually, but almost. The final scene that I want to talk about is Evan going to the orchard to meet with Zoe. This is actually his first time at the orchard, given that the whole story was fake. He hadn't actually been previously. So that could be why Zoe chose the spot. We want to make sure he goes at least once. But anyway, this orchard was able to be rededicated to Connor because the Connor project raised enough money. And this dedication is really helping the parents. But also, Connor did love the orchard, even if it wasn't with Evan. So that part was not a lie, and it was not in vain to choose this spot over, say, somewhere else. During their discussion, while they're walking on the orchard, Zoe and Evan discuss what they're going to do for college next year. However, in Evan's case, it's actually a year of work and then college after he saved some funds. But it was very sad to see that they had broken up. I understand completely why they couldn't work past it once the lies and the truth got revealed, but I was hoping that they could have and stayed together because they were a very cute couple. I've now discussed everything I wish to discuss about this movie, so let's now get into my rating, see what I give it out of 10. Now, my official rating for Dear Evan Hansen, I am going to give it an 8.75 out of 10. Given what I said in the beginning about how low the tomato people gave it, that is a difference of 58%. They gave it 29%, and I gave it 87%. Quite a big jump. So you can see that I loved the movie way more than the so-called experts loved the movie. Personally, I highly, highly recommend this film. If you have not yet seen it on Netflix or anywhere else you have the means to, please go and do it. I also highly recommend the soundtrack, both of the film and of the original Broadway version, both available on Spotify, but probably elsewhere as well. If you've already seen the movie, or if you've seen the play, feel free to comment down below. You can share your thoughts and opinions, see how they stack up to mine. I'd love to hear. Having given my rating, that's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed my discussions on the film Dear Evan Hansen, please drop a big like down below. Subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any of my future content. Check me out on social media, always linked in the description. And aloha till next time!